When you get to a trade, if you follow these rules, you will never get played. Trying to play me like I'm stupid, boy, you better behave, cause I'm a dog. You don't want me to go back to my ways, huh? You don't want me to go back to my ways, huh? You don't want me to go back to my ways, cause I'm a dog. You don't want me to go back.
Welcome back to an all-new episode of the Ratedmapodcast. I am Tavares.
I'm Dabrin.
And it's Blake.
And you already know the drill. Go ahead and drop down in that description box and subscribe to all of our channels on social media. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, everything is at Ratedmapodcast. Also remember that our new merch line is for sale officially. Check out the link in my Instagram post, Thick and Savage, THICK_N_savage. And yeah, get your gear.
More savage than thick.
You right. Slim thick.
No. You reaching. No, okay. Slim thick.
Disproportionate.
Okay.
Anyway, so a couple months ago, Dabrin was on Facebook and he posted something talking about depression and young gay black boys and parents at the point that they realize that their children are different. And what do you do with that? So I kind of wanted to talk about that to some degree today. And Dabrin, do you want to read your Facebook post?
Sure. So this was on my mind because the kid Nigel Shelby, the suicide of the 15-year-old. So I felt like I needed to speak on it because I could relate. So my post, it was, question for you parents. If you know your kids are different, because parents always know, do you sit down and talk with them? Ask them, are they okay without judgment? Fathers, do you support your gay kids? Do you tell them that they aren't any less of a human being for being different? Do you even acknowledge it? This is what's happening to these kids. And it's sad. And this post won't get much traction because when I post things like this, everyone disappears. So, do you want me to go into
I just want to say before we get started, when I created this show, in my mind, it was supposed to be like a how-to guide on navigating the gay lifestyle. And I know that we talk a lot about sex and a lot of other things, but, I don't want people to be misunderstood that this is, it's educational and it's funny too, but, to me, I would want the show to be like what Noah's Ark was to me when I was coming up. It kind of helped shape certain ideas that I had because I didn't really have any kind of nothing to look up to. So
yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, what were you thinking when you posted that?
So like I said, it tied into the Shelby, the Nigel Shelby suicide, and for me, it just really hit home because in middle school, I'll just give you a real quick top line. I don't want to go into detail, but I was bullied over a rumor. This kid wanted me to suck his dick, and
in middle school,
yeah.
Damn.
God.
And
they come up fast in DC, baby.
Yeah, and we were in the locker room, and he asked me to suck his dick, and I said, no, I was, shocked as a kid. I'm 12 years old, and he went around school and told everybody that I was trying to suck his dick because I told him no in the locker room. Mm-hmm. And that just turned into this whole thing where people who I thought were my friends stopped hanging around me because they felt like if they hung around me, they'd be considered gay because they hung with the gay kid, quote unquote. And nothing I exhibited at the time was gay. I was like any other young kid trying to figure things out. Mm-hmm. I was really heavily into skateboarding, which was odd for a black kid back then too. So everything that I did that was so different, they would just call it gay.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And it got to a point for, this went on from 7th grade to 8th to the summer of the end of 8th grade going into 9th grade. And it got so bad at times for me because I had lost so many friends or people I thought were friends at the time that I used to contemplate killing myself. And there was this bridge close to where I lived that was over this shallow river. And it was a few times walking home from school where I would sit on the ledge of the bridge and just think about how hard I would have to hit the ground to die, basically. And I felt like if I took myself out of this world or if I killed myself, I wouldn't have to worry about my friends acting funny or feeling different or hanging around me. I wouldn't have to worry about stressing my mom out because I would never tell my mom what I was going through. I would just stress her out even more because she didn't know how to read me. She didn't know what was going on with me.
So would they like chase you home or like?
No, I mean I was always fighting. I think end of 6th grade going into 8th grade, I was fighting on an average maybe twice a month on an average. I was lucky if I didn't have to fight a whole month, but it was like I wasn't no punk. Mm-hmm. So you come at me some type of way. And I was at a middle school at the time where I didn't have many relatives at that school. Like my high school, I had a lot of relatives, but anyway, it was just me.
So did you know? When did you know you were sweet or different? Kind of.
I honestly, I didn't know until I tried it. I didn't know until I tried it. I thought in middle school, going into high school, I just thought that my thoughts, what was going on in my head, was thoughts that we all experience as young men, and I just thought that. You know, every now and then I would look at a guy here and there and be like, he's attractive. Mm-hmm. But I would never never in my wildest dreams I never thought about sleeping with a man when I was a kid.
Because the boy that asked you to suck his dick is like, kids always know when they call you stuff before you even know what it is.
Yeah, and he probably sensed it. I mean, I wasn't sure. I didn't know then. I you know, like a lot of people I meet, they say that they knew they were gay since 3rd, 4th grade. I just thought I was confused. I didn't know what was going on. And I thought that what was going on in my head was what was going on in every boy's head.
And were you like kind of like timid as a child or not really?
No, I was very outgoing. I was a very outgoing child.
Timid as in sweet?
Oh, no, not at all. I think that I was more so then than now. I was more so masculine then. I think the older I got, I kind of grew into who I am as a person. But I think back then I was more so masculine because my dad played, even though he didn't raise us, he played a major role in us being tough.
And what about you, Blake? How was it growing up for you? Elementary, middle school, were you teased or?
Of course, I've always had like a very, very soft voice. I would always get mistaken for, you know, a girl. I would always get picked on. My sister would always beat him up.
Come on, sis.
Right. Funny enough, not to go off topic too much, but when I actually spoke to her and came out to her, that was one of the things that she said to me. She said, you know, I'm sorry because I didn't make you feel comfortable. Mm-hmm. When people would call you names and call you gay and tease you, it was my instant reaction to fight them as if there was something wrong with you. Right. And that wasn't the message that I wanted to send. So, yeah, no, I had very few friends, very few male friends. Most of them were females. And because I would get picked on, you know, because of, you know, my voice, I would walk into a room and I wouldn't speak. So I developed this innate shyness about me. I wouldn't talk. I would just be a wallflower. And it wasn't until that I actually began to love myself. Have I had thoughts of suicide? Of course. It wasn't until I started to really, really love myself that those thoughts went away. Mm-hmm. And when I actually came to terms with who I was as a person, that was when I really started to enjoy life. And now I would dare think about harming myself.
But how old were you when you started feeling like, I might be attracted to men?
I was like as young as kid in kindergarten. Like, I mean, even younger than that. As far as I can remember, like I would dry hump my cousins. We would, hump under the bed.
Or when were you able to put the language to it? Like, okay, like 6th, 7th grade. Like, I know I'm gay.
It was even sooner than that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it might have been like kindergarten. And because, I grew up in the church, so I was taught that being gay was wrong. So I knew what gay was because I was taught that it was wrong. And anytime I saw a man that I was attracted to, I would rebuke the devil. And I'd be like, oh, I rebuke you. Satan, get thee hence. And I would try to pray the gay away. So I would pray every day, every night, and ask God to deliver me and also to make my voice deeper. Oh. And it wasn't until, let's say that went on for, let's say at least 15 years. If that went on for 15 years, that was my daily routine. Mm-hmm. If that went on for 15 years, eventually I just came to a place, well, this is how God made me. Right. Mm-hmm. And for the people who are into the church, it wasn't until I I developed a relationship with God myself, not the God that somebody else told me he was.
Right.
Like, I had to pick up the Bible and read the word for myself and then find the love in there for me. Yeah. What about you, Mr. Tavares?
That's real.
Yeah, I would have never guessed. It's interesting that you say that because, so my mom, she used to want to be a choreographer. She looked up to Debbie Allen. She was always dancing and stuff. So I was always like, you know, performing for the family and like singing, dancing, rapping and stuff.
You was
like
a fag.
I was a young lady. But anyway, I remember like distinctly like walking around the house like snapping my fingers, and my mom like, don't be snapping your fingers. And I put my fingers like to the side of me, and I was like, well, can I snap them like this as long as they're not going like this? And I think at that moment, and then when I transitioned into like maybe 5th grade, 6th grade, I felt like I started to become a recluse because I realized when I moved or when I talked that people would ask questions. So I didn't want to be asked nothing, and I didn't want to be like speculated about.
Didn't want to be judged.
And I didn't even know nothing about being gay. I was just like going into myself.
Yeah.
But when did I know? I mean, I was young, getting hard or looking at boys and stuff. I remember 6th grade, like being in football and walking back and forth in the locker room just to pass the showers and see, like, you know what I'm saying?
That was such the best.
Yeah.
Gym time in junior high.
But I wasn't bullied or nothing. Like, I think I might have had just 3 instances in school. The first one, this boy, Jason Teodorsey, he called me a fag, and I said, say it again. He said it again, and I slammed his face in the locker. That was 7th grade. And then in 10th grade, this boy, Paris, he used to just hate on me because I had like long hair like Omarion. I had the box braids and stuff.
Oh my God.
And his braids wasn't never growing. So one day he just started like trying to like pick on me or whatever. And like I was different people in high school. So some classes I was a class clown. Some I was always smart. Some I was just doing my work. And then others I was like, you know, just kind of floating around from group to group. And but he decided to like want to pick with me one day for whatever reason, and I just told him like, I'll kill you. Like I didn't even waste no time. I sharpened my pencil and I was like, I'll stab you in your throat right now. Like, but I never really had problems with people like messing with me in school and nothing like that. But I knew early that I was like different for sure. So when did you want to? So you did battle depression?
Yeah,
on and off.
Yeah, I will say for probably like until I started openly dating men, and because even when I would try to date women, it just wouldn't work, and women wouldn't necessarily be attracted to me because I was as feminine as they were.
Right.
So then you go through this phase in life where you're like trying to date someone just because that's what society said you're supposed to do. Right. And it's just not working out.
I never tried that. I didn't have no girls in high school. I didn't even go out. I was going to work. I was a manager at Taco Bell. Well, shift manager. And I would just come home and then my mom would be like, don't no girls be calling here for you? Like, you don't never go nowhere. She was like, are you gay? One day when I was vacuuming. And I was like, no. Like, how dare you ask me that?
Oh, wow.
Which I wasn't because I wasn't actively doing nothing. But I knew that I had feelings. But I definitely wasn't ready to talk about them. But she kept pressing me. But she always had the attitude of like, you can talk to me about anything. So she wanted me to talk to her, but I just felt like you crossing the line, and I want you to back off of me.
Well, you weren't ready, and you probably just you couldn't form the language for it yourself because you didn't know. You wasn't fucking.
Well, I wasn't fucking, so I knew I wasn't actively gay, but I knew I was gay.
Oh, okay.
You know, and I had a female cousin who was a lesbian at the time, and she came out when she was 16, and she tried to kill herself by overdosing on pills. So it was already a thing in my family to where it would have been like okay, I guess, but.
For me, I think also what caused a lot of my confusion growing up is I associated, and this ties in with your cousin, I associated 2 things with being gay. I associated being gay as being crazy because I had an aunt who was, she was gay, and I witnessed her several times as a kid try to kill herself. And so my family would always make excuses like she's that way because of what she's into. So I always was like, oh, well, I'm not crazy, so I'm not gay. And then the other thing was I had 2 first cousins who used to be out doing the drill team with the girls and double dutching with the girls and all of that, while I'm over here playing football and all this other stuff. And I used to say to myself, I can't be gay because I don't do that, and I don't even know how to do that. So no, I'm not that. I'm not, because I didn't know there was so many levels to being gay, such a spectrum. As a kid, it was just you were either crazy like my aunt or you were hyper feminine like my cousins, and I didn't fall in either one of those realms. So I was like, I'm not gay.
Right.
Something's going on here, but I'm not gay.
That's interesting because kids do call you stuff before you know what you are.
Yeah.
But like what my mom said early on, I was like putting a t-shirt on my head, like swinging hair and stuff. And my brother would always be like, I don't want no brother that's gonna be no punk. And he would like snatch it off my head or like throw me down or something. Choke me, yes, and he listened, he choked me.
And you would scream. Like,
well, we would fight. And he's 8 years older than me, but I was tough. And then like I grew up in the country, so like we would like hunt rabbits and like fill up pickle jars and shoot them with a BB gun. But I also was always hanging with the girls and fighting other girls with them. So it was weird. Like I was never pussy, and I knew I wasn't gonna never be like hit on or like beat on or nothing like that. But were any of you ever molested? Because I know we had an episode like first season where you guys talked about being assaulted, you know, during
as
some
adults.
of your first adults during your first sexual experiences. Have you had men like be inappropriate with you as kids?
No. I can honestly say that has never happened to me.
Have you, First?
I think by the time I got to like 5th grade, I remember adults, I would say at the time, somewhere between like 17 and like 25, making inappropriate comments like, oh, you got a girl booty, or like weird stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it would kind of register with me, but I also kind of knew what I was doing. Like I would kind of like put some little shorts on, because I would go to like summer camp. You know, 5th grade, 6th grade, and all that kind of stuff. So it's like you start, you know, you're going through puberty a little bit. You kind of people talking to girls, and I knew that guys were like looking at me a little bit, and I would kind of put a little shimmy.
Oh, gotcha.
So it was weird, but looking at it now, I'm like, oh, that was very inappropriate. And I do remember one time in 8th grade, a family friend. It was like us two just outside by ourselves, and I think he was smoking a cigarette, and he like grabbed his dick and he like walked up to me, and I want to say he like tried to grab my butt or something, but I've always been outspoken, and I was like, stop, like, you know, what are you doing? Like, that's weird. And I just ran away in the house, but I never said nothing about it. But I don't know, I was just thinking about it today, like, that's interesting.
You could have had some old penis.
No, well, he was like 25 at the time, and I was like 13, 14.
You developed fast, didn't you?
What you talking about, body? I was
You been fast.
So it's safe to say that we kind of like experienced homophobia before we experienced racism?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely for me.
What about
I
you?
don't know.
Because you grew up in the South.
Yeah, I don't know which one came first.
Right.
They probably came around the same damn time. I think it was actually a white guy called me a faggot.
Oh, really?
And a nigga at the same time.
Shit.
Damn.
He was
I threw his head in the locker.
Okay.
Brook Terrier.
Oh, you too? We was slanging his. Do you feel like your parents were ever ashamed of you?
My dad was. In the beginning. He found out through the grapevine. My dad had a wife at the time who was messy as fuck. And she used to say shit to me as a kid, like, "Oh, you like going shopping, huh? You like going to the mall with me?" Little shit.
Oh,
she was picking.
Yeah.
And I know this now because I'm older and I realized what she was doing. And so she told my dad one time, like, you know, I think he's gay. And so my dad went to buy this. You know, years had gone by and I hadn't spoken to my dad. And I'm now. At that time, I was like 22, 20... No, I was a little older than that. I was probably like 25, 26. And my dad went to my grandmom and said, did you know he was gay? Did you know Dad is gay? And my grandma was like, yeah, is that a problem? And he was like, no, I didn't... Like, does everybody know?
Yeah.
And I just remember him not speaking to me for a long time. And when he finally accepted it, he accepted it with open arms. Like, he had to deal with it internally himself. And I was so worried about me having to deal with it that I kind of stepped away. And I think I made it worse for everybody because I left home and stayed away from home for so long when really it wasn't that serious. If I would have just been around, it probably would have been easier for everybody.
But I wonder if people ever even think about the parents of the kids that are gay, because obviously they probably
I feel like that it's not fair. I don't think that we as young gay men, I don't think that we treat our parents fairly in this whole transition thing of us trying to figure out who we are. We just block people out until we can deal with it. And sometimes parents need that help too, because a lot of them, if you have a good parent who cares, they have these aspirations for their kids, and when that's not happening, like my dad wants me to have kids, my granddad wanted me to have kids, and when they realized that I was gay, it was just like, oh, you ain't gonna be able to have no kids, or whatever the case, which is not true. So I think it goes both ways, and we are so consumed in us, and I'm gay, and I have this crazy life, lonely life I have to deal by myself. But in all actuality, I think our parents, they need help in this too.
Right. Yeah, I remember. It's funny you said you said your mom used to be like, oh, you like to go to the store with me?
My stepmom.
Your stepmom. One day I remember I used to go with my mom everywhere. And I used to wear my wave cap like all day. And then, but every time my mom would get in the car, she would get in the mirror or whatever. And I remember one time I got in the mirror and I was like taking my wave cap off, and she was like, you got too much me and you. And I was like, girl, we both bad. But so I started messing around in 2007 for a whole year, trying to like come to grips with it myself. And then in 2008, I came out to my parents, but I didn't come out to the rest of my family. So I knew, you know how you have like that. If you tell one cousin, they're gonna tell everybody. Yes. So I used to be on MySpace heavy back in the day, and in 2008 I got up in drag. I think I might have told this story before.
Oh,
did I tell you?
I don't think so.
So in 2008 I got up in drag as a Victoria's Secret angel.
Oh my god!
Did not make Victoria's Secret angel to that
girl, and my name was Trina.
Oh my god! Did you have a picture?
I do. Oh. So, but anyway, I knew once I put these pictures on Facebook that I wouldn't have to tell my family because it would just make its way. But I knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
So I posted the pictures after Halloween or whatever. And then my cousin called me, matter of fact, the day Obama got elected. It was November 4th, I believe. And she was like, Tavares, she was like, hey, what's going on? I was like, nothing. She was like, so Michonne told me about some pictures you put on Facebook, on MySpace.
I didn't catch that.
Oh, Siri messy.
She tried to get the
right.
She said, baby girl, I didn't catch it.
She was like, are you okay? Are you going through anything? I was like, no, I'm gay. She was like, oh, I wasn't calling for all of that. Like, I didn't know that was happening. She was like, well, what you want me to tell everybody? And I said, just tell them I'm sucking on dick. Just like that. Because I didn't care at this point. Yeah. Like, I had already come out to my parents and stuff, and I didn't feel like I owed anybody else the rest of that. So that's how the news traveled to the rest of my family. But as far as parents being ashamed, I don't know if that was the case, but I do know after I told my mom, she took it upon herself to like call all her brothers and sisters and tell them because she wanted to like bust their bubble and not have them gossiping. But I felt violated after that because I'm like, that ain't none of their fucking business, and I don't care what they think.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess I get it from her point of view now, but it made me mad.
Yeah.
What would you guys say is like one of your biggest fears in general?
And
however you want to take that. Like
dying alone.
Why was I about to say the exact same thing? Yeah.
We'll dive into that. Why
dying alone meaning like I get to an old age and look around and I don't have a spouse, I don't have no kids, I don't have that special person in my life, and I'm on my way out, and I just feel like that is the loneliest thing to happen to anybody, and for me it would just really probably I would die with a broken heart, I think, if I died that way.
Do you feel like that's just the reality of the gay lifestyle?
I think that more often than not, that's how we go as gay men, and I think that so many of us. See, the thing is, there's never been a textbook for how a gay man should live his life, or just how we navigate through life. And I think that, with everything we go through, I think there's like when you're in your 20s, there's a slutty stage. Straight people go through their slutty stage too, and we as gay men, when we go through our slutty stage, we're labeled in some way or some way, fashion, or form, or whatever. And then when you get into your 30s, you're still kind of trying to figure it out, but you're kind of trying to settle down. But everybody's all over the place.
Different stages.
Yeah.
Right.
Whereas straight people, I think most straight people follow some sort of line. And with us, we're just like this. You know, some of us are coming out later than others, and some of us, you know, that we're tired of dealing with bullshit with men at 24, where others are just now hitting it at 34, 36.
Right.
So I think that it's harder for us to find those people to grow old with, because we're all over the place. And that's what scares me, because, you know, whoever that person could possibly be in my life, he could probably just be coming out, or he may still be DL right now, or, you know, you just never know. So that's my biggest fear, and I think that that's what it stems from, because we as men, as gay men, are all over the place in this life, in this lifestyle.
Do you think that you're worthy of love and relationship? And if so, when did you get to that point?
I do. I used to not feel like that. Prior to my last relationship, I didn't feel like I was worthy of love. I felt like my last relationship before that one had kind of ran me thin, and a lot of the problems that we went through in that relationship made me feel lesser as a person than I had ever felt in my life. And just everything that I've been through in life, and then when you think about the people you've messed around with, that you look back and you're like, they weren't even worthy of me. They weren't even worthy of my body. You start tallying those people, and you start tallying the different shit that you've been through in life, and you're like, I'm not at the level of this person who may have only had 1 or 2 relationships, and they seem to have it all together. I'm all the way over here, and my shit's all fucked up. I don't deserve what this person and that person deserves.
Right.
That's how I used to think. But then I had therapy, so I don't.
Come on, guys.
What made you feel like that, Blake? Scared to die alone?
I think and I want to go and amend it and not say die alone, but getting old alone.
Okay.
I think it's just because I don't have an example of what it looks like for 2 gay men to be together and aging together, or for a gay man to be alone. I don't know what it looks like, and I guess it's a fear of the unknown. So I don't know which. Yeah,
That's real.
And what about you, T-Varus?
I kind of feel the same way. Not like dying alone or being alone, but like, will I be enough for one person? Like,
Child, thick as you are you enough for 2?
I should be. But I don't know. Like, I just feel like you said, there's no example. I don't even know any older. Like, I feel like we're the elders now to the young boy. Like, our generation is the ones who will probably have some kind of healthy looking relationship to younger gay males, but I personally don't have anybody to look up to who I know is in a relationship. Yeah. And even like my friends that are like older, they're facing their own mortality now. Like, damn, I'm single. I'm 50. Like, nobody wants me. Like, how do I? Yes. Because like, really, like in your mid-30s, they be trying to throw you out to pasture.
And this is the time where we should be like, you know, getting married, settling down, and it hasn't happened yet. And it just looks like, oh, is it going to happen?
And then it's pressure. I mean, also, obviously, we know the community is shallow, but it's like, you know, after 30, that weight gain ain't easy. You know, so easy to you be trying to hold on to your waistline, because it's like, damn, I got to at least wait till I get a nigga to let it go. But then I see some of the girls that be out and they kind of look full, and it's like, damn, y'all single and y'all full.
I ain't even touching it.
I don't think my waistline is going anywhere personally.
Well, you come through, I'm from Houston. Me and Beyonce got to get on this cardio.
Beyonce's already there.
Boop boop.
Anyway, we have a few listener questions this week. One person says, how important is commitment in your life, with yourself, with others, and with goals?
Ooh, that's a very deep question.
Mm-hmm.
Mildly important?
You just said you don't want to die alone, bitch. So what you mean commitment is mildly important?
I mean, that's a very broad question. So I guess, like...
Why you look disgusted?
No, because it's just... I'm looking disgusted. I do appreciate the question. It's just so freaking deep. I mean,
okay, girl, that's pretty deep.
Can you repeat it?
How important is commitment in your life, with yourself, with others, with your goals?
Okay, with myself, others, and my goals. I guess I'm pretty committed to myself. With my goals, it's important. Very.
What you got, David?
You're right. Commercial, give me something, bitch.
Commitment is very important to me. I mean, I'm naturally a devoted and loyal person, all the way around. So, and it comes easy to me. So, yeah, it's important.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Girl, why you looking at me? Bitch, like I said something wrong. Shit. The fuck?
Actually, because I was going through my head, I was like, I know I can find a place where this bitch wasn't fully committed to something.
Not at all. When I put my mind to it, it's gonna get done.
I believe that. I do believe that.
But commitment is important to you.
It's very important to me because it wasn't a thing for me like in my early 20s and stuff like that. So I think that it's important to me now because if I'm requesting it from people and requesting it from myself in life, then I need to be able to give it. And so I work on that now. So I'm a big part of who I am now is just staying committed to anything that I put my name to and being consistent.
Important. Okay, question number 2. Is it important to have a spiritual connection, however you define it, with someone you're considering to date?
Hell yes.
And why?
As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. I will not be unequally yoked.
What sermon is this you repeating?
I'm just saying. No,
Do you really believe that?
I do. And the reason why is I think there's a certain level of a certain foundation that you have to be able to stand on together. And you need to be able to go back to that foundation. And I think spirituality is an important foundation because a lot of our moral concepts, if you will, we get from religion or some form of spirituality. So I think it's important to have some form of a moral compass, but I would prefer that moral compass is rooted in spirituality and there's hope for our future because, I'm just going to stop there.
It's weird because California is one of those places where it's like people are kind of like free and I'm like I don't want to I believe in the universe and with my with my last boyfriend we used to pray together before we went to sleep and I did that
with one of my men's too,
but I feel like it made a huge difference and on the nights that we didn't know we were being petty, like it would just everything would be bad. So I do think that's important to me. I did know somebody that I used to date who I really, really liked told me that they didn't really know how they felt about God and Jesus. And that never really like sat right with me. And I was like, well, am I tripping? Like, I don't really know what that looks like for us. Because I think long term, and I do know that I want to raise my kids a certain way and I want my house to be ran a certain kind of way. And I feel like if you don't have no direction or if you don't even have something to like center you or somebody, just believe in something higher that.
Believe in a higher power.
Yeah.
Go ahead, David.
That's deep for me. I don't even know. The whole time y'all was talking, I was trying to buy some time to try to figure out what my answer would be for that. My last relationship before I moved to LA, we prayed together. However, since moving here, I feel like I've grown so much spiritually, and it was a time where I was even I practiced Buddhism for like 3 years straight. I believe in a higher power. I do believe, there's something higher that created all of this, and I just believe in a golden rule. Is how I try to live my life, and that's just treating people how you want to be treated, and love. I feel like God, whoever He is, whatever it is love. So with that being said, if you just believe in something, I'm fine with that.
Right.
I don't think we have to pray together because I don't really be praying like that. Sometimes I just have a conversation with God walking somewhere.
But praying, it could be just a conversation together.
But with that being said, my ex that I used to pray with, we still have an amazing relationship and we communicate very well now.
That's beautiful.
So maybe that has something to do with that.
Right.
Maybe I've never thought too deep in it until this conversation. But yeah, I'm not big on it, but I'm here for it.
And final question: would one of you ever commit to a romantic relationship, marriage, or partnership while dating, despite the fact that you and your partner have not had full sexual intercourse, but you may have a deep, intimate connection and undeniable chemistry?
What? Wait a minute.
Would you wait? Right? Would you wait till marriage to have sex?
Would
marriage just said, would you ever commit to somebody basically while dating, despite the fact that you haven't had full intercourse?
Oh,
yeah.
But you have great chemistry.
Yes, I've done that.
Really?
Yes.
And the sex was good once you had it?
Well, I was talking to somebody. This hits home. I was dating a guy who recently had gave his life to God, and I just thought he was the most he was the sexiest, most attractive. Everything about him, all the way around, the way he moved, the way he smelled, everything about him was my future. You couldn't tell me I wasn't about to settle down with this man. And he told me one day, he said, you know, what I'm doing and what I'm going through in my life, I don't see myself ever having sex with another man again.
This is why y'all was dating.
Yes.
But y'all hadn't had sex yet.
And I was like, well, what do you want to do with me? And he was just like, we can just be together, but we don't have to have sex. And
that's different. He talking about having a non-sexual relationship, period.
Right. And when I
you want to be my homegirl.
When I seen that there was like no, not saying that sex is everything, but you want me to stick around, I got to be intimate with you.
Yeah.
You know, when I seen that wasn't happening in our whatever we were doing, I started acting funny and I backed up. However, if I knew that, because I was so into him, if I knew that was that we would eventually get to sex and lovemaking, then I would have stuck around, and I would have stuck around as long as it would have took, because I was really into him.
And what about you, Blake? Well, no sex is easy for you, so.
You said what?
I feel like he tried.
No, I'm not. I'm saying you don't have a lot of sex, allegedly.
Carisha, please.
How would you handle something like that if a nigga told you that? I want to be with you, but we haven't had sex yet.
Okay, so I would probably, I mean, it would still work for me especially if it was somebody that I was really into. That wouldn't even be a thing. But I dated a guy who, in the midst of us dating, we were having sex regularly, and in the midst of us dating, he decided that he wanted to like not have sex anymore. And so for Dr. Bay.
Yeah. So
for like I want to say 6 or 8 months.
But it wasn't a discussion, it just got cut off.
He claims it was a discussion. I think it was just it ended.
And the question is, would you commit to someone?
Well,
after they wasn't committed to you.
You said what? What's that?
Was this man committed to you?
He was. That was mine. That was money.
I don't know if I can fully be into somebody without seeing what.
That's because you a hoe.
Everything's given. No, sex is just extremely important in a relationship.
It's extremely important in a relationship with you.
With me. Let me speak for me. I did date a guy one time, and even the sex wasn't even all of that, but I liked him a little bit. But we stopped talking. He moved away, and then he was living in New York, and he called me, and he was like, would you ever, like, date me again? And if so, would you ever consider being celibate with me until marriage? And I was like, mind you, I wasn't half as evolved as I am now, but I was like, I don't know if I could do that.
I wouldn't consider you evolved now.
I bet I wasn't half then.
I mean, half of 0 is 0. You can multiply the bitch times 2, it's still 0.
So the moral of the story is no, I don't know if I could do that. But I do play with the idea in my mind every time I hear Megan Good and Devon Franklin speak about the weight. Like, okay, let me say this. Since me and Bae stopped talking, I haven't really been having sex like that at all. And I'm not even really interested in men like that. Mm-hmm. But I'm just like taking my body more seriously and just like my spirit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like
I'm fine.
I'm like detached from all the other stuff unless it's some real shit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so precious.
Ain't it cute?
Yeah. Your body's your temple.
Yes.
The bitch, the temple done already been ran through. Temple done been defiled. Mm-mm. Now you want to preserve it.
Anyway, thank y'all for being honest today and opening up. I know these girls don't like to be vulnerable, girls, so I gotta push them every once in a while to get y'all a little bit. Anyway,
you're a journalist.
Good night, y'all.
Good night.
Bye.